Can I see thumbs up? Can I see yay? Can I see reactions? Alrighty. Thank you. Thank you, Elumi. Yeah, look at the profile. We're talking. So how is this going to go? We're going to let them actually speak to us. So Oluwanisola would go first. She would talk to us for a few minutes. Bukayo would go next and he would speak to us as well. The idea is that we want them to share facts, best practices, what they have seen work without interruption. Once they are done speaking to us, we're then going to go into questions and answers where we ask questions, and businesses and merchants on this call also get to ask questions. So please, if you have any question, this is a very, very good time to take notes or write them down so that at the end of this call, you can bring your questions to the award-winning experts one more time. I can't stop stressing. And get the best, get master classes for free. Really, there's a poll ongoing, and the idea is that we want to learn what's your biggest challenge now. This would help our speakers be able to factor in correctly how to share the right insight. So what's the biggest challenge that you have? So please click on the multi-box choice. A poll is ongoing, and then answer the one that best describes your business. I'm seeing all of the above. There's also acquiring crypto users, retaining users, conversion from sign up to first transaction, which is very important. There's also compliance concerns. So whatever it is that's a big issue for you, please let us know. This way our speakers can properly speak on them when things get buzzing. All right, a lot of talking on my end has been done. I'm going to hand over the microphone to Oluwanisola. I mean, ladies first. So she can get us into the video. Hi.
Hello, please confirm you can hear me.
Clearly.
Okay, awesome. So it's Oluwanisola, but just call me Shola. Everyone can just call me Shola. Lovely to be here. It's my turn. Lovely to be here. Lovely to be here. Lovely stuff going on. Hi, Pearl. Hi everyone again. Lovely stuff. So I am just gonna delve right into it. Thank you for the intro, Eunice. Before I start, I had asked what the merchants are like, what's their user persona, what their user persona is like, what kind of products are they building and all of that. But I want to hear from you guys. So do let me know if you're meeting me for the first time and you wanted to introduce your products to me in just one sentence, what are you going to tell me that you are building? Please just drop your comments in the section below, and let's just do that for like 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes, please. In one sentence, what would you tell me that you do if you met me for the first time? Can anyone hear me? I don't think I can see any responses yet.
I think they're still thinking.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's interesting. I think that's going to even be the base of what I'm going to be talking about today. Yeah, so let's start with that. Okay. Cross-border payments, crypto payments gateway. Okay, okay. Um, my business powers crypto for businesses and end users. Okay, okay, crypto payments infrastructure. Okay. All right, great stuff. Awesome stuff. And again, that's what I'm going to start with. I like that Eunice had asked earlier what challenges you guys are facing when it comes to your businesses right now. And I saw some things like retaining users, acquiring users, and making users actually make that first transaction, right? And the first thing I want to talk about today is getting it right first, getting it right before even doing anything. as a product marketing professional, product and growth marketing professional, one of the things that I am often called to do for startups is to get that thing right first. So, what happens now, especially in crypto, especially in the crypto industry in Nigeria, what happens, what you see a lot is everybody is saying the same thing. Everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody's targeting the same people. And everybody's just saying, so what happens when a whole lot of people are saying the same thing? What happens when everybody's shouting? So if all of us start to shout, now, what happens is that you can't distinguish, which one to follow, right? You can't distinguish which one to follow. So it means that at the very core, you need to get some things right first. Yeah. And the first thing I'm talking about today is your positioning, how you intend to position in the market. It's very important before even acquisition, before even saying, oh, you know what, I want to bring in users, I want to get them to use the product. You need to get your positioning right first. How do you want to position in the market, right? So what is positioning? Yeah, positioning is that thing that distinguishes you from other products in the market. Yeah, so when every other product, everybody's shouting, hey, 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 you are saying B, or so you are saying B, another person is saying C, another person is saying B. But then when we look at everything, all of them are alphabets. Do you get? So everything is alphabet, everything is under the same industry, maybe even building the same thing, but the way everybody is saying it is different. The way everybody is positioning their products is different, right? And this could basically, and the way positioning can be looked at in different ways. Yeah, so you can look at positioning from the angle of who you want to target first. You could also look at positioning from the angle of what do you want to say out there, right? So who you want to target would be the users, the kind of people that you want to target. So say, for example, you are launching into a market where you already have the big players, right? These guys it kind of seems like these guys have gained the market share. And I'm pretty sure some of you are currently having that challenge, and it kind of seems like you can't get through, yeah? Everybody is facing and listening to the big guys. Everybody is using the big guys product. Yeah. You want to ensure that you're positioning in a way that is slightly different. Yeah. So you want to look at maybe, okay, say for example, the big guys are focused on major crypto native users, right? That's who they are focused on. You can basically position your product towards, say, maybe freelancers that receive in stable coins, for example, right? You can position your product towards that. Now, it doesn't mean that the crypto native users wouldn't use your product. They would use your product, right? Um, but you want to start with the freelancers, the guys that are receiving stable coins, that send stable coins, maybe receiving crypto as well, the SMEs that are, transacting in crypto. You want to start with that segment of people that the big guys are not looking at right now, right? So you want to start with that. That's one way to position in the market. Then another way you want to look at positioning is your messaging. Yeah. So let me use the example of Zap by Paystack. I don't think they're doing crypto right now, but they're doing like transactions just like OPay, Kuda, and all of that. But right now, I really love the ads they are running. I've been looking for that screenshots to actually show you guys, but I couldn't find it. But anyway, the ads they are currently running, I really, really love it. It stops you in your track, right? They are doing basically what your regular OPay is doing, your regular Kuda is doing, your regular bank apps that you used to transact, right? They are doing exactly what they are doing, but the messaging, the way they are passing it across, out there right now with their ads is quite different. So they're passing it across they're not saying, oh, this is what the product does. If they tell you, oh, come and send your money through Zap, do this, do that, do that, you're just going to ignore. Why? Because there are so many other brands that are doing the same thing. Oh, I have like a million apps in my phone doing the same thing already, right? What are they now doing? They are using the problem to run the ads right now. So they're not being pushy about their ads. They are using the problem to run the ads, doing it in the storytelling format. Oh, I wish I got the screenshot to share with you guys. Yeah, they're using a storytelling format, you know, basically tapping into that problem, showing you guys like, oh, I think the one I saw was the slides I saw was, oh, so person maybe wanted to go to party, and then this was going on, and then the person used Zap or something like that. Anyway, they tapped into that storytelling that actually stops you in your track. So I saw the one I saw was on Twitter, right? And I stopped in my tracks, like, okay, what's going on? They are not telling me, come and send, come and, come and receive, come and do this and that. They are basically using storytelling to stop me in my tracks. Yeah. So that's another way to position your product. So two ways now. The first one is messaging, the kind of messaging that you say out there. And it's not just through ads, it's also on your landing pages, also inside your app, even inside your app as well, right? On your social media as well, the kind of messaging, where you are structuring the messaging, very very much important, right? How you're structuring the message, that's one way to position your product. Another way to position your product is to the certain kind of user. So if there are people, if the market is quite saturated, like we all know crypto is, right? If the market is quite saturated, you want to ensure that you're positioning for a different segment of users. You're still coming towards the other ones. Yeah, you're still very much open to the other ones, but you just want to position towards the different segment of users that other people are not looking at the moment, right? So that way you're able to gain the attention of those guys. Yeah, so that's another way to position. So those are there are still more ways to position, but those are the two major ones that you want to look at, where when you want to stand out. Basically, you want to stand out from the rest of people, right? So I'll give you an example. Yeah. I was working with this crypto product, right? And when I got in, I so the first set of ads that I ran, I basically ran it using the same messaging that every other competitor was using. Convert your crypto to cash, convert your crypto to cash, do this, do that, and obviously that's what the product does, yeah, but I was basically just saying the same thing that everybody was saying. So imagine you're coming to your app right now. You open your Twitter app. It's mostly on Twitter that we do this, that we do crypto ads anyway. So you open your Twitter app, yeah, and you're seeing and you see, maybe you just you engage with a crypto tweet, yeah, and suddenly you're seeing ads from many crypto exchange platforms. So you see ad one telling you convert your crypto to cash, yeah. You scroll down, you see another ad two again telling you convert your crypto to cash. You scroll down again, you're seeing another. At some point you just start to you train your brain to just basically ignore these things, yeah. You could even set the options of, not interested. I'm not interested in this ad. I'm not interested. Don't show me this thing again, like ever again, right? So basically that's what I was doing, when I joined, and the acquisition was very low. It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere, right? So I had to go back to the drawing board and then do a repositioning. Yeah, what were other people saying? What could I say better? Yeah, so positioning in that sense wasn't positioning for. So the position I did then was now the messaging kind of position, not the one for new users, right? For a different segment of users, rather. It was for the messaging. So the messaging that I used was now different. Now I will tap into. I'll go in depth into that in a bit. I want to go into my points for the day. Sorry, I really hope my time is not running out here, but let me just quickly go through my points. Yeah. So now I've talked about positioning, right? I've talked about what you should do before even saying you want to acquire users, right? I mean, there are a whole number of the other things that you want to do, right? But very importantly, especially as a founder, you want to ensure that you are the one that is on top of the positioning of the product, how it is positioned out there. Yes, your product marketer may also be doing it, but you need to ensure that there's an alignment. You are the owner of the product. You are the first product owner. You need to ensure that whatever you need to ensure that however the product is positioned out there to people, you're aligned with it, right? So it is very important for you to get that right. All right, so now let's talk about acquiring users, what you need to get right. So I believe everybody here on this call know the channels that they can use to acquire their users, right? The affiliate channels, using communities, Twitter. Thank you so much, Godwin, for that. All right, great. So what I want to talk about the major things that you need to put into perspective when you want to acquire users, especially as a crypto product, right? So um for other products, especially in Nigeria, yeah, other products like food, excuse me, other products like food, people are very used to people don't mind, yeah, people don't mind actually ordering food, yeah. So for example, Glovo right now, you can order food, you pay on delivery, right? E-commerce, I know e-commerce also had their own, they had their own period of time where, it was really hard to penetrate the Nigerian market, but I feel like they have gotten to the point where, people now who really order online. I mean, we've really really made progress when it comes to e-commerce in Nigeria. But one thing that still gets people itty is finance, basically, right? Finance products, right? So I'm talking, so for crypto, and for crypto, I feel like there's an extra layer when it comes to crypto. So what is very important for people like people that want to buy crypto product, that want to that you want to acquire for your product? Number one is trust. uh the trust is, it is like triple, yeah, the your regular B2C finance products, right? Trust is number one thing. Now, how do you ensure that you actually bridge this trust? Yeah, some of you may have had this thing, this trust thing before, and all of that. But how do you ensure that you bridge the trust? So first things first that you want to think about is, don't overcomplicate things. And I always say this to founders: you don't want to overcomplicate things. When it comes to acquisition of users, right? You don't want to see. You need to look at it as as part of you, as this basic thing that needs to be like very much for fundamental. And what do I mean, right? I'm working with these crypto clients now, and they've already acquired over 1,000 users, yeah, without any budget, right? They've already acquired over 1,000 users. Very impressive, right? And you may wonder, oh, how did these users, how did they acquire them? They basically started from the people around them. And that's what I mean when I say don't overcomplicate things when it comes to acquiring users. So they basically started from the people around them. If you can get people around you to trust you up to that level where you're getting up to 1,000 people, if you can get people around you to trust you, you've started. So the thing about acquisition is that everybody wants to quickly just enter markets, right? And you need to get that fundamental properly first. How do I get the people around me to even trust this product first? And what then happens is that these people now, they now start to refer other people. That's number one way to tackle trust. That's number one way to tackle trust, right? So the crypto client that I just onboarded, I'm working with, they do decentralized stable coins, basically sending and receiving stable coins, yeah. And what they did basically was to get the people around them to start using the product. So that was really, really good. Working very optimally. I'm going to come to that in a bit. Working very, very much optimally. And then they now started to refer other people. Yeah. So with referrals now, so they now introduce like some sort of like referral structure. If you refer, you get this commission, you get this cashback basically when somebody else does the transaction, right? And then and then it just kept on going like that. Now they've not run hard, they've not done, okay, sorry, I shouldn't have said zero budget. So sorry, I shouldn't have said zero budget, but they haven't run hard yet. It's been paid, oh good. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, they did a bit of paid marketing there, right? But my point is that they haven't run ads yet. They've not really gone public. So it's sort of still like within the circle, and people that have been referring other people within the circle. It's not like on socials yet, right? So, but my basically that, and another thing I want to mention is that the people that have now been referring other people, um those other people they've been performing very, very good transactions. And you know why? Because they trusted the people that actually referred them to the product. Right. So that's one thing that you want to think about when it comes to trust. Yeah. You want to think about, how do I ensure that I'm not overcomplicating this thing? So when you're thinking, okay, how do I simplify this thing in the simplest? How do I make this thing very, very much simple? How do I ensure that I'm not complicating this thing? Yeah. You start to what then happens is that you start to think of ideas that are very much natural to you. So number one is that, so for example, an example is what the crypto clients did. Right? Another thing that you want to think about is, how do I ensure that my product is is very much simple? That's another way to not. The secondly is, how do I ensure that my product is very much simple? That's another way to build trust. So the whole technical, maybe you are coming from a technical background, there will be this urge to make your products very much technical, very much, too many technical things going on. Yeah, but at the very, very core, what do people want to do? What are you doing? For example, they are sending, the one you want people to send and receive stable coins, right? So how do you ensure that your product is doing just that? I once spoke with a client that was building something, right? And Eunice, please go ahead.
Just nudging you, like your time is fast
Okay,
spent. So
I'm
just
so
help us.
sorry.
This has been
Okay,
very
okay,
good. It's
okay.
having a very good time. So let's give you an extra 2 minutes to wrap things up. So that
Okay,
Bukayo
okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. I'm so sorry. Gosh, I get to go off and I'm talking about marketing. Anyway, so let me okay, let me just quickly wrap up my points, right? I'm just gonna wrap it up in this trust here. But so yeah, I was giving an example of a client that I was gonna work with, and this person had I'm pretty sure some of you can relate to this. So this person was building actually adds to the products. Now, what they now did was to build the products, yeah, and then add other. So the product was now like filled with so many things that the product was not doing at the moment. Like what the company was not doing at the moment, the product was filled with it. So what happens when users come in is they are confused. So to you as a founder, you think, oh, I'm letting them know that we are going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. But how about you simplify it in such a way that it does exactly what you have promised them out there that it's going to do? So they come into the app, whatever it is that you've told them out there that it's going to do is what it's exactly doing. That's like, just don't overcomplicate things when it comes to trust. Number one is start with the people around you. Number two is number two number two is, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. But yeah,
make
number two basically is make things simple. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. I'm so sorry I went beyond my time. Yeah.
That was so good. I couldn't even get to stop here. I was feeling very guilty. Like this was very insightful. We can see that you still have so much to share with us. You guys, if your friend is not here, this is a good time to call them to join the call because there's so much insight to drop in. I had questions to ask you, but oh my god, I'm blown away. All right. That was a great one. Thank you. So position your products well. This is a very saturated market. So if you're going to sell something, sell very specifically, know your target audience. I was going to ask you how to define your user segment and how to sell to them, but please let's not let you go off again. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, sell with trust. So build trust. Get people around you to use the product. Build a simple product. That's always a great place to start from. Thank you so much for sharing, Sola. I'm going to let Bukayo, just give this to us in a very interesting way. And Bukayo will speak about something very interesting. Lots of times when you speak to founders, they always want to just run ad first. Somebody wants to go straight to marketing. So Bukayo would help teach us how to navigate marketing and of course retention. So what channels do you use? And yes, over to you, Bukayo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eunice. I'm like, oh wow, I have to go after Oluwanisola option. I'm like, wow, such a high bar to go. Uh, Hi
My
everyone.
organ.
Hi everyone. Good evening. I think I like to have it made a very good foundation from where I can pick up in terms of having an understanding of what you do differently, positioning, messaging as well. I also see that, people in the room, I see there's B2B and there's B2C in terms of your product solutions. So from cross-border payments to actually being able to power bill payments and things like that, using stable coins behind that, I'm guessing, as well as some other off-ramp and on-ramp solution. This Casey online hands up. I think we'll take your questions maybe in the comment section or probably after for that. So I will speak very briefly and see if this is an interaction, right? So guys, you drop comments, okay? So my conversation is going to be around 5 major points. One is having an understanding of how you can use data to drive marketing for your crypto, products, depending on B2B, B2C, or your different use cases. The second point is understanding what channels to use, what are we seeing that is working today and what isn't working. The third point is going to be around measurement and attribution. Everything you're doing, if you don't measure what you're doing, you can't improve that. So how do you efficiently measure what you're doing and how do you scale what is working and cue what isn't working? By right attribution and right measurement framework. The fourth is understanding of your creative and messaging, which I think Shola has spoken a lot about. So I won't dwell so much on that. And then the last is something I think a lot of people, undervalue, which is leveraging partnership and ecosystem. And I think we're actually doing an amazing job there in this situation, having this together for, the merchants to understand what's working and how can we leverage partnerships. Because there's a lot of people on this call that you can, become partners with quite a number of people there. Okay. So very briefly, when you tell me this pipe, I'm like, 5 points in 15 minutes. Okay. Let's see what we can do. So my name is Bukayo, and I think she's done justice to my profile. Starting with one is, understanding what, data-led marketing could look like for your use cases. The first is stop celebrating installs. Okay. If a mobile app, stop celebrating installs. This is somewhere I think people at the time. Understand what matters to your business. What's the business outcome for you? If you get people to come in through installs with one click, how do I convert those people to actually make transactions? How do I get them from installs to sign up to KYC completed down to the first deposits? Okay. So you need to map that out. Map up your user journey. Don't celebrate installs for any reason, right? The second thing is you need to understand cohorts. Now to say, okay, now you have an understanding of how you bring people in, and having a dashboard that clearly articulates that for you. How are you thinking of your cohorts and your channel selection? When you bring people in from two different places, right? Do you measure the quality of the people that are coming in? Because I could be working on channel A and channel B to bring people in, whether it's organic or inorganic, depending on the use case, right? To say the people coming from here coming cheaper, right? It's costing me maybe $1 to get them, right? But you then find out that only 5% of those people actually become transacting customers compared to channel B that is costing you more to bring in on the top line, but the quality of those users are better in terms of they're actually transacting maybe a lifetime value of $100 to $200 on a quarterly basis, right? So you need to then think from cost per acquisition to cohort analysis. So start thinking, what's the quality of the people coming in from the different channels, whether it's a B2B or it's a B2C angle, right? So start thinking in cohorts, okay? The third thing is volatility. Because we understand the nature of, crypto, depending if it's an exchange part and if it's stable coins, we know there is no volatility for that part of things. But you need to start thinking, if there's volatility in my marketing, my solutions, how do I take advantage of that to make sure that our messaging is very clear to get an influx of people when the hype is high, right? Because that's something you need to leverage. So you need to be ready before that happens, because you never know when that happens, right? Because of the kind of space that's, we are working in and we are working on as a whole. We then lead into the next point, okay? We then talk about, okay, how can I drive, app marketing? What are the channels that work? Okay, yes, I understand what I need to think and how I need to think, but what channels should I be looking at to drive this? So let's start with B2C, right? Because it's pretty straightforward, if we put it that way. We all agree that Google and Meta can be quite tough, specifically when it comes to, the nature of the products and needing licensing and things like that before you can get to run ads, all right? But there are also other low hanging fruit that you can explore. The first is OEMs, right? OEM partnerships. And when I say OEM, I basically mean mobile devices manufacturers. How can you partner with devices that are like Xiaomi, Techno, Infinix, Transsion, to get direct partnerships to make sure that our ads and communication are shown natively inside the app without having to go through, Google and Meta and the likes. Okay. So how can you partner with them to make sure that in their notification centers, it's shown when they're using native apps like, this Eagle Predict and things like that, your ads are showing to the right people. That's it. How can I partner with people like, Phoenix browser to make sure that my ads are showing in-app within those browsers as well, right? These are unconventional channels that you need to look at as a channel, excluding the staple houses. The second is in-app placement and programmatic DSPs, okay? And allow me to love them together. For example, you could work with Reach, like we do fantastic work with multiple brands in the market. And we help them to look at how can you drive that to, cost per acquisition and not cost per install, but I actually want to pay for deposits. I don't want to pay when people install, I don't want to pay when people sign up. But you work with these partners to make sure that people actually get to deposit before you actually make a commitment and a payment on your end. Whether that's for your businesses, you're driving on an outcome basis, right? You're not driving on the top of the funnel basis, okay? So when people make their first trade, when people make their first, transaction, or when people make their first bill payments, that's literally where you make, payments for that. So it makes business sense for you as a whole. Then the last is, allow me to say the last, I think it's retargeting. You need to think about it today. The data that I have today, how am I using that and how am I making that better? Okay? How can I create custom audiences from this without having to look for the new people to actually generate? Because when you create custom audiences and look-alike audiences, right, custom audience allows you to retarget those people and increase. So if I come in for on-ramp, for example, off-ramp, right, and I convert from crypto to fiat, for example, or it's maybe cross-border payments powered by stablecoins in the back end. How can I get people to use other product use cases that we do have in the app, which is where you now do retargeting, whether from lifecycle management or from ads itself. Okay, so somebody comes in, we can help you to power transaction across border. That's one. Second is we can help you to do bill payments, and this applies to both B2C and B2B. Because a lot of times people just think about it from the B2C, but the B2B as well. You can literally create APIs that powers it for other businesses with a stablecoin solution at the back end to power that. So you're not talking about crypto and stablecoins. You're actually talking about business solutions for those apps, right? With you being the technology and infrastructure that powers that. So start thinking in that direction. The last is community. Again, I think Shola has spoken a lot more on community. Please take care of community. It is so important. Have a creator partnership rather than a group. Community is not a group. Community is actually building relationship with people. So look for the people depending on your stage of business and creators that fit your stage of business and grow. Don't be a new brand and look for somebody with 500K and they'll be like the person who's listing you. That will list you as the person, right? It's literally true. But depending on your level of your business exposure, right? Go for creators at that level and then you get going to get as a business, and then that begins to make sense for your number. What doesn't work is running brand campaigns that don't have a transactional product at the end. You're not Binance, you don't have a $10 million ad budget, right? Run brand campaigns that tie back to your business numbers at the end of the day, right? And don't do spray and pray influencer marketing, where you just have a lot of people to come in as a whole, and at the end of the day, none of them are actually making transactions, and you're not choosing the influencers or creators correctly. Okay? So that leads me to my third point, which is building measurement and attribution. Now, before you set up anything, you must make sure you have the right measurement and attribution in place. What that looks like is you can work with partners like Aspire, Koshava, Adjust, Singular, or Branch. What this does for you is, if I'm doing campaigns or partnership with 3 different people or 3 different channels, how do I know who is performing and how do I scale on that? Because at the core of it, there are 2 ways to grow your business, right? The first is, what is working today and how can we scale that? If I know what's working, I'm going to spend 80% of my numbers on that so that we can grow that. And then the second thing is 20%, which is what is not working and what are the opportunities of it. and how do we make they focus 80% of your time and just on opportunities because focusing on what's working and scale that. Then use 20% to find what's not working. And make that work. Two, it allows you to configure your events. You remember we spoke about in terms of the consumer journey from install down to the bottom of the funnel. My video is hanging. My goodness. Let it not hang.
I think you can temporarily turn it off just so that we can get all the juices. Yeah. We can't hear you again.
It's always when I turn on my camera, but yeah, let's manage that.
Okay.
But I need to see you. Because I see you, Eunice. I can hear you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
So it still keeps breaking. Do you want to go off and come back again? Would that help?
Yeah,
we can hear you, but it's breaking. Okay. All right. So while you do that, I want to take a minute I'm going to pause your time so that you can continue and pick up where you left.
Any luck?
And I want to ask. Okay. Let's try again.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm right here. You can continue my time. I'm almost done, right? But you can see me and you can hear me.
Yes, both work well now.
Okay, great. Okay, my village people are on that, but it's so much. So it allows you to also configure your events, right? Understand when people to their first transaction, right? If you don't have that, you'll be spending money on multiple channels and you don't know what's working and you can't scale that. Okay. So MMP also allows you to know which one is giving you the best numbers. Okay. At the same time. Eunice, I've seen your eyes. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. It stopped for a bit, so we can hear you now.
Okay. I feel like your eyes are like, can this man know that we can't hear him? The first point is add creatives. Please always contextualize your solution. Speak technical. And I think this is a lot of mistake that we make. We assume that we should use a lot of words like off-ramp, on-ramp, stable coins. Nobody is picking a solution to do that. That's, crypto fiat. Make sure is clear and pretty as possible. If it's bad for remittance and cross-border payment, through crypto, please don't use words like off-ramp and on-ramp if you're not in the technical space. Just be clearly articulate, this is what your solution does and this is what it allows you to do. So don't say, we allow you to do off-ramp payment. Just say save in dollars or convert or make multi-currency payments. Be very clear. And my last point, which is, partnership. Yes, don't worry, you get the method. I can send over a very short note, guys. I can send it over and then you can get it post of the class. The last is partnerships. To be of your partnership and less on each solution. If you power multiple fintechs, if you power multiple businesses that already have certain solutions but don't have the other parts. So for example, say somebody has bill payments but they don't have an understanding of how they can do cross-border payments, remittances as a whole. You can become that solution. The power them having to understand that, there is actually stable coins and crypto powering this in the back. People just want to have an understanding and you bring a new solution to parties. That's it for me. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Bukayo. You were sharing so much germs, but network didn't let
So
us
yeah,
hear, some of the things you were saying. Sorry, Chimi. So when he shares his notes, we're going to pass it on to everybody who signed up for this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I love the claps coming in. Please give them claps. Alrighty. Thank you. And you were right on time. That's really cool. Thank you. Okay. How are we feeling? How was this? What was your best part? I want to see the chat buzzing. What was your take? What are you taking out of here? What's the thing that's caught your attention? Anybody? There's so much. There's so much. Okay. Alrighty, welcome back. We're going to go next into a panel session where we ask them questions. So if you have questions, now is a good time to surface them in the chat. Or before we do that, I want to talk a bit very briefly about the sectorial reports. Sola said something about the crypto space being very saturated, and everybody hears that, everybody believes that. But we've done a few data checks. We did a research and published a report alongside Tech Cabal about the sort of adoption of cryptocurrency, and we think that it's something that every business should should pay attention to. I think every business should look through. I think every business should look through. So Pearl is going to share a link to getting that document in the chat. We encourage you to look at it to help you know where the numbers are and what you should be paying attention to. Thank you. Also, I'm going to talk a bit about Quidax and what we offer. So Quidax offers currently 3 products. There's the Quidax RAM products, there's the basket product for collections, and then we have the Quidax API that a lot of merchants on this call are connected to. These products allow us to help everybody who wants to get into crypto business be able to serve or provide crypto exchanges one way or the other, either by doing that full on their own through the API, or just focusing on payments like Basket allows you to do, so receive payments in cryptocurrency, or the Quidax RAM product, which allows you to let Quidax take the burden and you just have a widget that allows your customers quickly convert crypto to cash or cash to crypto as the case may be. I'm going to ask our expert, award-winning expert. I like Bukayo's part so much because he was speaking like a true lecturer, giving us very great abbreviations, and I hope everybody was taking points. If you have questions, again, please, this is a good time to ask. I'm going to ask a few questions, and I'm going to start with Oluwanisola. Let's just stick to Sola. I think that's better for everybody. I'm trying. Alrighty. Okay, so I think my first question to you would be around community, around building. What are some of the ways that you recommend people should think around building community? Let's think about a business who just has now crypto. I want to build a crypto app. I have a solution in my mind. I know what I want to do, but I don't know where to start from. I don't know how to find people who test my app for the first time. How would you recommend they go or they figure that out from day one?
Okay. So for that kind of level, that kind of stage, what you want to do is just be a Twitter person. Seriously. Again, don't overcomplicate this thing. Just be a Twitter person. We all watched this guy, this Bible app guy. Oh, what's his name again? The Bible app guy. Oh yeah, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, we all watched him basically build his products with us, right? So he basically did founder-led marketing. Dara. We all watched him basically build the AI that transcribes pastors' teachings into text, right? Or into Bible verses displayed on the screen anyway. Anyway, we all watched him on Twitter basically just build with us. I think that's the low cost, that's the most low cost way to actually build a community right now or get people to use your product. Again, don't overcomplicate it. You need better testers for your product. Tweet it. Just tweet it. If you don't have as many followers, reach out to your friends that have followers. Just tell them to tweet it. Yeah. So if my friends want me to do something, or the other day I saw founder of Piggyverse tweet that somebody needed better testers for their products, right? So she tweeted it that, oh, a friend was building a product, something like that. So it, from my guess, the friend probably doesn't have a Twitter presence, but she has a friend that has a Twitter presence. Again, don't overcomplicate this thing. Always think around you, like what can you use around you that is not as expensive, that is not as, that wouldn't cost you as much. Yeah, so always think around you. What's that thing that you can use? Twitter would be my answer. Yeah, yeah, that's your go-to. Twitter is your go-to. Yeah.
Okay, so use Twitter. Use Twitter. Is it another channel like Discord or any other one you recommend? Or Twitter just works?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Is there like any other community, or
Okay.
like if you don't really like Twitter, you don't like the drags there, like Discord or any other place people should
Okay. So I think that depending on what works for you, yeah, you can always guide people outside of Twitter, yeah, to maybe Telegram or your Discord or whatever, right, to actually create a community there. Yeah. So you can also create community using certain things that people are interested in, right? So for example, I worked with a crypto exchange app where we use like football. That's what like many guys are interested in, right? That's what we use to create community out of, right? So you want to think of things that are quite natural to you. Also things that you have control over. So I'm working with the scenario that you gave me. This person is just starting out. They obviously don't have as many people in their company. Maybe it's just them doing these things, right? So you want to start with things that you have control over. If you're not active on Twitter, get a friend to tweet for you to get people to join your Telegram group, right? Or your Discord group or your WhatsApp group even, right? So you want to start with what you have control over, something that is not something that is not complicated. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. That was like a very great response. So if you don't, you can ask your friends who are active on Twitter to leverage their community to get you what you need. Awesome. Okay, Bukayo, I'm going to ask you another question. You talked about channels for acquisition, leveraging partnerships, the big grammars, OEM, and the rest of them. I'm going to ask, so most users, or rather most companies get customers in, but like you see, after one attempt, customers just go. So what are some, how do you want founders to think through protecting the customers who join their product so you don't lose them, at least till like CAC or their lifetime value is actually complete? What would you recommend?
Eunice, you can hear me? Can you hear me? Eunice.
Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Oh my God. So you mean in terms of retention, to get it correctly?
Yes, correct.
Fantastic. Good. I think we need to start thinking in retention loops, if I put it that way. I think HubSpot calls it growth loops, right? What that basically means is that how do you get, a lot of times businesses focus on acquisition, which is important. And I mean, our business is really driven on acquisition side, for example. But you need to then think about the product-led side. Retention is a product function. I always say it's 10 times. Retention is a product function. How can we build something that would delight customers? One, to stay, two, and to come back. Because there are three, and then the last one is advocacy. I need to come in, which is usually the easiest way, even though it can be tough. But what can you do to get me to stay is the second thing you need to think about. And that has to be product-led. I think I'm thinking about adjacent solutions. If I come in for A, what are the other things that are fractioned into A that you can offer? The reason why Child Extra is selling food and just found adjacent solutions like events, there's API for on-ramp and off-ramp for, Quidax APIs, but they have that allows you to, receive payment from our product, things like one thing. How can we make them stay by solving other problems or challenges that are also related to their life through the first solution that they come in? So you need to think about that as a product, and that's a product-led function. What are adjacent solutions that I can think about, and how can I build that to make people stay? Right? That's staying. That's how you get active users. The last thing is now growth loop. right? Or retention. Yeah, that used to be growth loop. Is how can I delight customers that they want to tell other people about it? That's it, the next thing, right? So you then need to build the delight function, which is you satisfy them so much, you solve their problem so well that I pick up my call and I tell Shola, if Shola says I need to convert my crypto to money, I need to send money abroad. I started my business and somebody is trying to pay me from, UK, but I don't have a UK account or a GBP account. You say, oh yeah, you should use partner A, right? Or you should use, Basket by Quadax because that can allow you to just receive, USDT or USDC stable coins and then they can pay you from any country, right? I've been able to solve Shola's problem that she can tell another person about that, right? So those are the two things you need to think about. Retention is a product-led function, and then you need to build it to see what are the adjacent solutions that these people we acquire will then need that we can also offer to them for them to stay and continue using our product for repeated transaction. And the satisfaction is now growth repeated. How can we satisfy them so well from a customer-led point of view, from a product solution-led point of view? Because at the end of the day, they are hiring your product to solve a problem, in quotes. You get that they now want to tell every other person about that solution without also having to pay to acquire a new user. That then builds advocacy for you. That would be one major thing I think I'll talk about, and I think people don't think adjacent solutions.
Awesome. I think that's very brilliant. Spotlighting retention as a product-led thing, which means that every arm of your business is involved in marketing one way or the other. So you have to pay attention to that. It's raining here, so my camera is off. So please, but confirm you can hear me clearly. Everybody hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome.
Yes, we can.
I like the points you raised also because I was recently reading Andrew Chain's Viral Startup. I think it's a great book that everybody who is trying to hack startups should read. He talks about the viral loop rather. So how to design loops in such a way that once you use my products, I give you a link. You can get people to join the products by just sharing that link with them. So it's not just putting ads that steal the moment, but don't lead to conversion. But building things within your product that make sure that customers use this product one time, can share with their friends and get their friends to also use the product. So that's how we should think about product development. Do you want to build products that you can have shareable links that customers can share with their family and friends to get into the product as well? Thank you so much for sharing, Bukayo. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you the next question. And the question I have for you now is, let's think through activation, right? Bukayo has talked about thinking through figuring out how to delight your customers. But we know that first impression matters a lot. The first time I use your app is very important. So what would you recommend? What do you think are best practices for designing the activation moments for users?
Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off what Bukayo said. Yeah, maybe because I'm in product team these days, I'm very much I'm always thinking products these days. It's your product. To be honest, there's no other way around it. This is the best way to look at it. Yeah, with acquisition, you are out there. You're telling people this is it, this is this, come and use my product, this is what my product does, this is what when people are coming into your product, it just needs to deliver that promise that you've made to them. It's as simple as that. It just needs to deliver that thing that you said it does. It just needs to deliver it. Most times when if you check out why people stop using certain products, certain apps, it's because they maybe did one transaction or they tried to complete their KYC, wasn't going through. They tried to, perform one transaction and it just stopped working. Maybe their money was hanging. Yeah. So a crypto exchange app that I worked with, yeah, when I got on board, the first thing that I did was to call the users that had, signed up one way or the other, and the ones that had actually transacted like maybe once before, or the ones that had also dropped off as well at one point or the other. And what the feedback I kept getting was, you people that my KY there, I wanted to add my BVN, it was not working. Right? And that's it. That's what discouraged them. Yeah. You people that I did my one transaction with you guys, I tried to off ramp, right? It didn't work, or maybe my money was hanging or something, and that's why they left. Yeah. So it's as simple as that. It's just whatever it is in the acquisition when you are acquiring them, it just needs to you just need to deliver that thing. right? So it means that your support, for example, needs to be optimal. They need to be able to reach out to your support at the times that you say your support is available. Yeah. So if you are saying you're available 24/7, you should be available 24/7. No, I'm not even joking. Like, users actually take this thing seriously. You people put 24/7 on your app that you're available 24/7, and they're texting you by 10 p.m. You're not picking, you're not answering them. You're answering them like maybe three, you're replying their messages like maybe 3 days later. They will drop off. So things that make people is when you don't deliver that promise. So I think I love to emphasize that don't overthink these things. Make sure that you are not overcomplicating these things. Make them as very simple as possible. What simplicity is, I'm acquiring users. I've told them that this is what I'm doing. When they are coming in, am I doing those things that I said that I'm doing? If you're not doing it, then there's a mismatch. And what then happens is drop off. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm going to, I think am I over my time or something? Anyway, yeah. So the I once, tried to use, right? I think it's a mobility product. And everybody was talking about them, this and that. And I just logged onto their platform and I tried to, sort out my KYC, right? And it just kept hanging. I'll go back again, I'll start again. And it just kept, and I just left because there's no way I'm using your app, yeah, because your KYC is not working. So it means that the KYC provider that you are using also very important, right? So you need to also think, you need to always think of it journey. They're coming in from somewhere, they're stopping at somewhere. And another thing you want to do is maybe map out that journey so that way you can always optimize every stage of the journey. So they're coming in from they're coming in from Twitter for they come in from Twitter ads, they enter your app. What's the first thing that they do? Yeah, the journey, map it out. The first thing they do is they try to sign up. Is your sign up process working? How optimal is it? Right. Next thing is, what do they do? So you want to ensure that you are guiding them along that journey too as well. Yeah. So for example, when they come on to one thing that I've noticed is that founders, product managers, and the likes also like to think that people will just figure it out themselves. I know that you think that because this person that is a crypto native user, they have used crypto apps before, they should just be able to figure out your app themselves. Yeah. One thing that you need to put into cognizance is that the way everybody has, even if it is the same, yeah, the way everybody has built their app. I'm so sorry, Eunice. The way Pocket App built their app is different from the way Kuda built their app, even though they are performing the same function. So simple things like product stores, for example, to walk them through where to find certain things in your app, very, very much important. Just don't overcomplicate things.
I really like that you're emphasizing on don't overcomplicate things, because it is so important in the crypto space. Everybody thinks that if you use my app, you understand how crypto works. So it's a very good thing to call out that you should keep things as simple as possible. People build products but don't pay attention to how another person would use the product. If it works on your end, it doesn't end there. If you own a crypto app or whatever business it is, make sure that you test with multiple devices in different locations. Understand how the user would experience each product. I work in merchant success, so this one is very, very important. And that's like why I like that she also mentioned it. You see, it helps marketing if your product is good enough. So let's all do better. Okay, I'm going to ask Bukayo the next question. And it's a question that Godwin had asked. So Godwin asked, what are the true benefits of mobile measurement partners like AppFlyer for product group? Bukayo.
Measurements, accuracy, accuracy of measurement and attribution. And I'll give you examples, right? So there's something, let me tell you, most of the networks, like ad channels, I like to say, allow me to use this word, they're criminals. Everybody's trying to fight for, I was the one that gave you this money. Our conductors are on the road and like, oh, come and enter my bus, come and enter my bus. And they're like, oh, I'm the one that entered the bus, right? That's how it works in attribution. So what MMP allows you to do is to tell you who actually gave you that customer in a nutshell. Because remember, the consumer journey is not linear again, right? It's not a scatter graph. What that means is the typical old school authorities, awareness, consideration, desire, buy, application, right? It's a funnel. Now, it doesn't work like that. I see your ad on Monday. I'm discussing with Shola on Wednesday about something, and then she talks about the business of Quidax, right? Then makes sense. Then I go online, I search for Kudaks, right? I'm like, okay, interesting. Then I forget, and then somebody calls me, my wife calls me to the kitchen, and I go to the kitchen, I've forgotten I was searching something. On Saturday, I remember I need to complete a transaction, and I go back and now make a decision. You see how very scattered it is at that point? And guess what? Between that time, I saw an ad on Instagram, right, for example, on it. And then I was watching a YouTube video on my TV, and then I saw an ad on YouTube, right? So now, what this does is your communications are in multiple channels. How would you know who delivers the conversion to you compared to the other person? What MNP allows you to do is it clearly articulate that this is the person that delivered this to you without telling a lie. Because I saw the ad on Tuesday on YouTube. I also saw it on Instagram on Thursday. Check Google ads, I will see conversion one here. If I check Facebook ads, I will see one conversion here. But they will both be claiming one conversion for the same person. So if you measure differently, you would think you have two. Meanwhile, you have just one. So MMP will let you know who actually delivered that conversion to you within the attribution window. We typically have something called like 7 days click, 1 day view, which is if I click on the ad within 7 days and I convert, it will attribute to that source that's the person that delivered. That's the first thing it does. The second thing that MMP allows you to also do is customer journey mapping. There's product analytics like Mixpanel, Amplitude that can allow you to do that. But you can still do some form of consumer journey mapping as well as cohort analysis that we mentioned in terms of the quality of people that come in. So if I'm running campaign on campaign channel 1, 2, and 3, I can tell that channel 1 is giving me 10,000 installs, but maybe the sign up is just 5,000, 50%. And transaction users are just 1,000 people for installs. And costing me $1 for installs, right? But only 1,000 people actually transact. Channel B might be costing me $5 for installs, right? It might give me only 5,000 installs. But guess what? Lower install volume, more expensive. But transacting users are about 2,500 or 3,000 out of that 5,000. You understand? Which tells me that even though channel B is more expensive on top line and lower volume, the quality is over 20 to 30 times better than channel A that looks like is less expensive. If you don't have an MMP, not only can't you tell which channel is giving you the best numbers, you also cannot tell the consumer journey in terms of how are people interacting from install down to their first transaction. To know that, okay, this channel is giving the best quality of users. Because it's not always about the highest volume. The lifetime and quality of users is just as important as the volume. So you always balance quantity in terms of volume of people coming in against quality in terms of the quality of people I'm actually getting. I would rather have 100 people spending $1,000 with me a year than have 1,000 people spending $1 with me a year. Does that make sense? So MMP allows you to know what is working in terms of channel selection and attributing to the actual person that delivers it. And the third thing that allows you to also know is what is the quality of people and how do they behave in the consumer journey across the funnel or across the consumer journey. I hope that answers the question.
Very fantastic. Godwin, I should be seeing your claps. Okay, Sola wants to say something. I'll let her go.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to add. I know I've been saying Twitter a lot, and it is because the quality of people, at least from my experience, right, the quality of people who come in for the crypto apps that I've worked with, that transact from Twitter, tend to be better than other, especially social, right? Other social channels, right? I don't know what it is. I don't know. But when it comes to e-commerce, right? You hear people say Twitter doesn't really do it for them. It's Instagram. I think the way these platforms are also structured, it really matters, right? So yeah, I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Awesome, great. Our time is almost out. This was very fantastic. I told somebody that after this call, I was going to go on LinkedIn and add marketing manager. I wasn't lying, guys. This has been very insightful. I listened to a lecturer. I listened to award-winning expert. This was so fantastic. Thank you guys for sharing. I want us to leave one final thought to everybody who is on this webinar and tell us how we can reach you. I'm going to start with Bukayo. And my question to you specifically, the final thing I want you to talk to us through is okay, I think it's MMPS also. The final thing I want to ask you to close this conversation out and then let us know how we can find you is, if you were going to walk a founder through their first 100 days of figuring out marketing and user acquisition, what would you have them do? And then tell us how we can find you.
Okay. So to get you correctly, how would I work through their first 100 days or first 1,000 or 100 users? I'm not quite sure.
First 100 days, let's say they are aiming to get 1,000 users in 100 days. How would you walk them through that?
Okay. Let's see. This is quite tricky.
It is giving live interview.
Yeah, it's giving live interview and giving consultancy. But on the serious note, I think I'll start with products before marketing because I think that that's very important. I'll start with, except we assume that, okay, the product is good and everything is on lockdown, measurement is good. Let's assume that. The first is look at the resources you have in two places. And I'm assuming that, everything is good on the product side. So allow me to do that. First two things, the resources, your financial resources and your human resource. Guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, good. Because I think I'm seeing my video is paused, blah, 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 over everywhere. Anyways, what I was trying to say is two things. First, financial resources, human resource. Financial resource in terms of how much do you have to spend on marketing needs, both advertising and product-led and things like that, right? That's what I'm putting that. That's the first. The second is human resource. How many people can you hire and what can you be your team size? Those two things will determine your strategy and your approach. If you have a mid-sized budget, I would advise you to go with 2 to 3 channels max, which is creator-led and 2 channels for ads, right? 2 channels for ads, 1 for creator-led, which is more like a community and things like that, okay? The second is human resource. Hire 1 product person and hire 1 growth person. The product person will help you with product-led growth, like driving growth loops, viral loops, retention, make sure people come in and they stick, right, in the first 100 days, like you mentioned. The growth person is job is to get people in. That person needs to drive acquisition and let people come in, whether it's through organic or inorganic channels. That will be the way I'll look at it for the first 100 days. Look at your resources, both in financial and people, and then carve around that to make it work. That's the best way. If not, I think the rest we need to get into specifics and then we can now start going through things. I can't just tell you, oh, do this, do that, do the magic. There's no magic, guys. There's no magic. The nature of your business, infrastructure, use cases, B2C or B2B would affect tactical deployment, but I'm giving a strategic approach, right? And then from strategic approach, you can now have tactical implementation of things.
Fantastic. If you wanted to get into it deeper, how do we find you?
Oh yeah, fantastic. We're doing this outreach, so you're quite aware, right? So you can reach me at, let me drop my LinkedIn, okay? So we're working with crypto clients at the moment and we're driving, first transactions for them. We don't even cost you on installs or signups. You literally just drive your first trade or your first transaction as a user. So you're actually getting quality people. So reach me on LinkedIn, I dropped that there, or you can send me an email at very simple, bukayo@reach.africa. The reach is REECH, but I dropped that bukayo@reach.africa. And you can find me on Twitter, which I don't talk a lot about work there, because Twitter people are so serious. I'm just dragging my you and I'm talking football entertainment, so you can also connect with me. At least let's be less serious and have a human side. I dropped that as well. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being so kind and sharing the depth of your wisdom with us. Shola, in 1 minute, I know you've worked with crypto organizations, a lot of them. If you were going to, the guys here are builders in crypto, if you were going to tell us, if you're going to share one important lesson around acquisition with the guys here, what would you want them to know in 1 minute?
Okay. In 1 minute, please don't chase vanity metrics. Please focus on the metrics that actually drive, that actually move the needle. Yeah. Just focus on that one North Star metric that actually moves the needle. Very, very important. Is that 1 minute? I'm trying not to go right. because the urge to go deeper is there. But yeah, in 1 minute, please don't chase vanity metrics. I've worked with founders that tend to want to, get followers on socials, and stuff like that. They are cool. Those things are cool. If you have the budget for them, cool stuff. But you need to ask yourself, is this what really is this what's going to move the needle right now? Okay, that's it. Anyway, yeah, but just ask yourself, is this moving the needle? Very, very important. So, yeah.
Awesome. So if
How
you
do you
want to get
reach me?
the example, yeah, how do you reach you?
Okay, so if you just type I'm into marketing, that's my name everywhere.
Oh,
Um yeah, so I'm into marketing. That's when you just type it into Google, you find all my channels there. I talk about work everywhere actually. So yeah, you find it there. And then on LinkedIn, it's my name, Oluwanisola Iludoing, typing that now. So that's LinkedIn. But for other channels, just check I'm into marketing and you find me there. So yeah.
fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. And thank you everyone who has stayed with us all through to this point. We really appreciate you. I want to give a special shout out to Godwin Israel and Casey Online. I saw your reactions and the comments and the questions. Thank you. Thank you guys. And thank you, Shola and Bukayo, for giving us your best. We really, really enjoyed. And just Shola leading the example, telling us how we work with different platforms and different places. So this was very insightful. I hope we got value. If you want to talk to them, their LinkedIn, their X handles is in the chat. So please reach out to them, connect, say you joined the webinar on PayDAX and you get to talk to them more. Hopefully this converts to better business for everyone. And thank you guys for joining. You're going to get a recording of this session along with our sectorial report, so you know what's happening across crypto adoption in the ecosystem. And yes, I've been your host, sometimes very fast, but yes, the host, Eunice. Thank you everyone. This was great. I had a good time. I hope you did as well, and it was a worthy 1 hour of your time. Thank you guys. Thank you, Bukayo. Thank you, Shola. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, guys, and thank you,
Thank you for
Eunice and the Quidax team for having me at this
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. This was really fun here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. To the moon. Bye, guys.